Okay, so let me just read you something Dr. Jung said to someone, and this is recorded in that person's Remembrances book, I imagine. And this is what Jung says. Dr. Jung told me that the unconscious would protect me, give me everything I needed for my life, and my one duty was to do my inner work. That's it. That's really all you need to know here, but it keeps going. All else would follow from this. He said it was not the least important whether I accomplish anything outwardly in this life, since my one task was to contribute to the evolution of the collective unconscious. Now, I've been talking about this for years, that really nothing matters what you do outwardly. Whether you get whether you have titles, whether you famous, whether you make, you become rich and win the capitalism, whether you're a accomplished artist or you sell, your book is the bestseller, or you start a family and have a busload of kids. It's not that important. You can have all this if you want, but your first task is to do the inner work, because when you do the inner work, you contribute to the collective consciousness of humanity, which what Jung called collective unconscious. And what's happening, how that works, is the information that we have now collectively is more. We know about ourselves, we could say, more psychology, more history, even more, what should we call it, archaeology, scientific discovery has been, it's happened in the last 20, 30 years, 40 years, a lot more than what was available to people before. And all this is added to the collective unconscious, if you like. But the real task of adding to the collective unconscious is really the recovery of the feminine. And the feminine is your inner life, your relationship to your inner life, or to the soul, to the spirit, to the spirit dimension. So I'll read you something that another famous Jungian, this time, wrote as an intro to Anne Bering's and Jules Cashford's now famous book, The Myth of the Goddess. And this is really the essence of the inner work. The recovery and the relationship to, not just the recovery or just hearing about it, me talking about it or someone else is talking about it, you go to a lecture or you visit a guru or something and that's it. That's not it. You've got to have a relationship with it. Maybe you use the tarot cards and suddenly there's information for you. You're communicating with the inner self, with the spirit through the tarot cards, Or you pay attention to dreams, or you pay attention to your intuition, or you're creative, right? Poetry, or you read and you catch words in between the sentences, between the words, between two words there's a silence and that something comes to you. You're living in the now intuitively. Then something happens. So this is important. This is important because once you create this relationship, the unconscious, the soul will look after you so that you continue. You can bring. It will help you. It will help you to have the confidence to do it. It will help you if you need the money to do it. It just does. Like I said in so many other talks, and I've shown in my book, especially Where We Dream the Single Dream, you look after, but you've got to do the work. You've got to pay, you've got to be committed to it, in a way that your whole life revolves around it, if you like. Not all the time, because I understand that people are busy and you have your commitments, outer commitments, you have to survive, you have to make money and so on. But make the time to do it. Maybe half an hour a day, just committed to yourself and your inner self, making that connection. So this is what was written by Lawrence van der Post. He's Sir Lawrence van der Post, I think now, a famous Jungian analyst. And this is what he said. I'm going to put my glasses on. I'm sitting in front of the computer all morning, so my eyes are now funny. Anyway, history as a record of the past has been told almost entirely in the terms of its outer eventfulness, and in a sense, this is the list of history. Outer eventfulness, he means extroverted, just what's happening on the outside, yeah? And this is the list of history. History progresses on two levels, a manifest one and a profound one, which is irresistible, but not fully expressed, demanding to make itself known through the way we shape our lives in the world without, and through the failures and disasters brought about because this hidden inner eventfulness is not fully recognized and given its due role in the human spirit and its societies. What he's saying here, your inner eventfulness, this is the other part of the history, the inner side of the history. This is the collective unconscious. This is the part of us that talks to us in dreams, in visions, in intuition, in true art and poetry. And it expresses itself like in disasters. Because it's not being paid attention to, then it expresses itself in disasters. We have the wars right now and all this division, this duality. Because one tribe thinks it's better than the other tribe and so on. My God is the right God, my chicken God is better than your duck God, and off they go, fight. Because it hasn't been healed, the split. The outer eventfulness, the extroverted view of history, and the hidden view of history, which is the collective unconscious, the mythology, the fairy tales, the true art and poetry, the visions of the mystics. That hasn't been integrated. It hasn't been integrated, so we don't realize that there is something else, something deeper, in not only just in society but in everything. Not just you and me that we're divine, but the divine is present in all things. You see, so the healing hasn't been able to happen. The two parts had the outer eventfulness and the inner eventfulness. The spiritual side that underlines everything. It's still completely in mainstream media, in societies disregarded. It's not known at all. Yeah. So this is what it means. The two sides are not being reconciled. This is what Van der Post is talking about. There is not the mention of history of which this is more true than the way the feminine half of the human spirit has been dealt with by the masculine dominated societies and inadequately acknowledged and evolved in our culture and civilizations. Exactly. The feminine means your inner life, the spirit life. We see the result of this neglect, which is still with us still, in the decay of the feeling and the caring values of life, and in the pursuit of the masculine rationalism, which seems to be the dominant element in the establishment of today. But the core of the feminine, like I keep repeating, yes, feeling and empathy and beauty and all these things are of the feminine. But the core of the feminine is intuition. To this day, this is called irrational. And you can't just go, especially if you're in a scientific community, or if you're in education or anywhere, or if you're working for universities, or you're a teacher or a professor, you can't just go and say, oh, I had an intuitive revelation and this is what I'm using for my argument. You can't. You'll be destroyed as a fool. They will simply cancel you, because there is no this value of our human psyche, of our human being, is completely ignored. It's been ridiculed. It's been ridiculed for a long, long time. And the core, like I said, always, the core of the feminine is intuition. Intuition sees wider, and it sees the interconnectedness of everything. The feeling, the empathy, the compassion, the beauty, this is all very important, because it creates the softness that we need, so that we can relate to each other, we can love each other, we can respect each other, value each other. give the other a chance. No one is better than the other. But the real value, the real core is the intuitive core, which goes up and sees the entire thing is interconnected. There are no gaps. There are no separateness. There's no separateness. It goes beyond duality, non-duality. Yeah, and then you can. This is real compassion at this time when you have this vision, when you have this revelation, because what you can say, it sees that the other person you're trying to hurt is not other. It is just another embodiment of you. That's why this is so important. Yeah. But here at last, in a work of immense pioneering significance, it's pioneering that has been done admirably in all sorts of sorties and forays of imaginative men into this undiscovered dimension. But it has never been done as it should have been done by women, the feminine itself looking for the feminine. I'll stop here. I have had lots of pushback about this when I say that women are the embodiment of the feminine. They are. The mindset of the modern woman is not, because it's really just a elitist or copy and paste of the patriarchal mindset, which divides us, or the masculine mindset, the rational mindset, which divides. It sees everything in duality. So you have the class system, the elites at the top, and the rest of us. You have the good and evil people. You have the chosen people, and the rest. The exceptional people, like the people in the United States, Americans like to think, or at least the elites believe themselves to be, and the rest, the barbarians, you see, that need to be changed or brought under the control of the exceptional people, because that's the only way to live. So this is what I'm. So women, in our mythology, in the art, in the old art. For instance, the work of Maria Gimbutas, when she discovered the old Europe, what she called, and cultures around the Danube River, southern eastern Europe in Greece, in Yugoslavia, and all this, Romania. The main deity was in the form of a woman, and that's the feminine. They had the whole society structured around the feminine. So the feminine, the image of the feminine is always woman. Now the feminine is equally, the mind is equally built of feminine and masculine. So your right heart of your brain is the intuitive half, which is your feminine, and the left is the rational, which is the masculine. So we have both of these. Women, because the embodiment, traditionally, because they are the embodiment of the feminine, are more intuitive. Men, because we are the symbolic, embodiment of the masculine, of the rational mind, are more intellectual. But we both have the two. But symbolically, in mythology, in the psyche, in the soul, in the language of soul, women are the embodiment of the feminine. That's it. Okay, so this is what he's saying here. So by the feminine itself looking for the feminine, that is to say, I'll read this again, but it has never been done as it should have been done by women, the feminine itself looking for the feminine. Okay, so as we have looked for the masculine in the remote origins of life on earth and our progression into this great and tumultuous time of ours. Okay. Jules Cashford and Anne Baring have done precisely this. They have gone as far down into the history as one can go and followed it through into the present day. It's a great story that they have to tell, and it's a timely story, because it is the loss of this feminine eventfulness which has led to the most urgent and dangerous problem of our time, the exploitation and also the rejection of our Mother Earth. Yeah. Our mother not only deprived of the great store of life it had prepared for us, but increasingly being denied the chance to do more. In the patriarchal mythology, in the mythology of God the Father, where God becomes separate from our reality here on earth, God is somewhere else in another dimension, another universe. They're up there in the clouds, and here there's nothing. There's just, we're just mortal lumps of flesh. We're not divine. We His subjects. In here, in this mythology of God the Father, in our three Judaic traditions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam especially, the divine, the earth is not divine. It's not holy. Nothing here is holy. We are only here on the way back to heaven, somewhere out there. So you can do with earth whatever you like. Animals are exactly the same. Hence such cruelty towards animals in many places still, because they're not seen as God. Or the other tribe, you've got the God behind you, and the other tribe doesn't. Not even the fact that you're divine, because you're not allowed to say this in Judaic, the Old Testament, Judaic traditions. You're not allowed, because that's blasphemy. You're gonna get. Nowadays, you're probably going to get excommunicated, but back in the day, you would have been killed for saying that. But now, so this is what's missing: the feminine, the feminine, the deep feminine that live within us. She says, it says, this is all holy. Everything is holy. This chicken sandwich you had for lunch, that's made up of holy elements, atoms, particles. Everything is holy. It all comes and goes. Comes from the source, returns to the source. Comes to the source, returns to the source. If you ever had a vision, if you ever had a dream, archetypal dream of going to the center, that's where it is. That's where it comes, that's where it goes. Remember my dream last time I shared with you? Going to the cave and the big flowering tree inside this huge cave thing with the water bubbling up from its roots. That's the source. That's the image. That's the symbolic image of the source. We don't know what's behind that, where that water is actually bubbling from. We don't know what the mystery is. But that's what it comes. And that's where you return to. When you die, that's where you go to. That's where the dead go. Beyond the wall of death. I've shared this, my dream, archetypal dream of going to that dimension on a boat, a little sailboat into an island where I met all the archetypes. I will tell you that perhaps next time, that vision of oneness, where we are going to the oneness of a thing. You become non-dual, you become the universe itself. Everything is universal in there, okay? That's the return. So this is what he was saying. Here, for the first time to my knowledge, the story is told in full. It is the awful, yet at the same time strangely inspiring story of the feminine, still unvanquished and undismayed, which we are all called to honor and obey, if we are not also to vanish, like so many other cultures, in the labyrinth of the past through which the authors follow the golden thread. Exactly. If we don't find the balance, if we don't recover, we don't heal, we don't recover this soul, this inner eventfulness, what the way the Van der Post calls it, the inner eventfulness, that this underlying reality, this spirit that is there in everything, we don't recover, we don't heal, all the other cultures that haven't done this disappeared. They have all disappeared. Because they haven't been able to find this balance. They haven't been able to come to terms with the reality that underneath their own existence there's something else, something intelligent that is actually guiding, growing, moving itself into this dimension of life. Like you coming into birth, going through your life and learning and changing, hopefully changing, transforming, healing yourself, hopefully by recovering this relationship with this hidden dimension of life. And then you return back to the source, healed. You, through your own process of healing and becoming one, division between matter and spirit, you heal the world. Because you are the world, you're the universe. The universe, the mystery that created the universe, you're a unique embodiment of that. So when you learn that when you manage not just to know about this union of healing the split between matter and spirit, but you become that healing of the split between matter and spirit, between this mystery in yourself. You become this in your whole life, becomes this. You heal, you help to heal the world, and you help to heal the universe. The universe wants to know itself through that action. Your own action, my action, everyone's action. So the more of us that manage to do this, the more of us create this reality of relationship with this mystery, the more the world is healed. And you can see it in the world as it changes. Things change. The politicians that want to be divisive and hold on to power suddenly fall away. New realities take place. New worlds are born. Like right now we have perhaps a fairer world is giving birth. Is coming into reality. The world where instead of just being one people, one nation, one empire ruling over them all, you have a combination of different nations coming together and being working together in cooperation, not dominating each other, but cooperating with each other. That's what we see in BRICS. Russia, China, India, Iran. I think there's 159 nations that there was news yesterday that 159 nations in BRICS are going to go their own financial way, away from the dominating financial system of the West that wants to, hold on to power, just my way or the highway, or we'll destroy you. They are going their own way, not to dominate each other, but to cooperate with each other. It's a whole new world. That's the feminine. The feminine is not power over, but power with. You see? So the more of us do this work, the more we talk about this, the more we help to heal ourselves, we heal the world. The more we create a relationship with the spirit, with the feminine, listen to our dreams and visions and intuition and synchronicities, and create art and write about it, like myself, on social media and videos like I'm doing for you right now. The more you help to heal the world, the more a new, better, cooperative reality comes into being. Yeah, it helps everything heal. So let's see how he finishes. Where did I stop? The horizon behind us is littered with the rubble of civilizations which have failed to renew themselves, have failed the challenge somehow to transcend the opposites in something that will combine in balance both the masculine and the feminine, and in their union create something greater than the sum of their parts. That's it. That's it. That's the union of the opposites. You become the union of, if you become the union of the opposites, if you heal the split by your own work, your own actions, your own, the way you live, the whole world is healed. But if we don't, then the society, this civilization, this will crumble again like all the others before. And then the whole cycle will have to start again. Maybe next time it will be better luck. If not, that will fail. And then maybe next time it will be better luck. You see, but this time something is changing, something is happening. It works. We are doing this. I'm doing this. You're doing this. You're helping to heal. You're talking about the feminine. You're listening to me. You're listening to others. There are so many others that are. Anne Baring, Jules Cashford, the Jungians, not all, but some, the best of some, I would say, are talking about the feminine, helping, writing poetry, writing, giving lectures, making videos like I am doing, They're helping to heal the split, not the power over, but bringing in the new world of power with, and we're seeing the results. Things are happening for better for all of us. There's no chosen or damned, there's no better or worse, there's no good people and evil people, not superior and inferior or any kind of that childish rubbish. We are all interconnected, just one single conscious living organism living here on this planet. This is our home. It's all divine. The whole of it is divine. You're divine. Okay, the more we do this, the more we talk about this, the more we help to heal the split, the more new reality of this new interconnected world, this multipolar world comes into being. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.